Hello, everyone. A very logical day to all of you. I hope you have heard the discussion that we have taken in the previous week. And if you have missed any, kindly do that. And the topic that we are taking today will be the first editorial of this Indian Express. What we are going to do is, as we always do, we'll be coming up with the reading and simultaneously we'll be discussing the central idea. But on the point of vocabulary, I'll be giving you not the meanings this time, but yes, this is an article based on economics. So a few words related to that we get from this um, article, right? So I've noted down all those words, highlighted all those words, and that will be a task for you. And what is the task? I'll tell you at the end. So here we go. A weaker push. So now see, it is a push, but a slight one. और slight हो सकता है, weak हो गया है, तो weaker push. Data on government finances released by the Controller General of Accounts last week shows that the centre's fiscal deficit for 2022-23 is unlikely to significantly exceed the revised estimates presented in the recent union budget, notwithstanding concerns over deviations in both income and expenditure. On the revenue side, now revenue side matlab income side. This is to be noted one way that one thing that the writers, when they mention two things and in the sequence in which they mention, they are going to discuss the former one first and then the latter one. So income पहले है तो इसको former बोलेंगे. So author पहले former मतलब income के बारे में बोलेंगे. और expenditure is the latter one. This is called the latter. So this will be explained later, right? So coming on the revenue side, the center's tax collections have grown at a healthy pace during April, February, despite subdued growth in February. Gross tax collections have touched so much crore, up 12% over the same period last year. This is only marginally lower than the growth assumed in the revised estimates for the full financial year. ठीक है, मतलब जो इन्होंने estimate किया था उससे जरा सा कम है बस, otherwise it is good, up by 12%. This is about the revenue collection. Now direct tax collections have grown at a considerably faster pace than indirect taxes. So now they were talking about the tax collections. This is the gross tax one, and then segregated into direct and indirect ones. So they have grown at a considerably faster pace than indirect taxes. Data released on Monday shows that provisional direct tax collections, net of the refunds, have in fact exceeded the revised estimates by 0.69%. Under direct taxes, growth in income tax has so far outpaced the corporate tax collections. Now you can see the direct tax collections में income tax भी हो गया और corporate tax भी हो गया. Because those who are doing those who have commerce as their optional, the mainstream, right, is okay. You all will be able to understand, probably, right? Others who are into maths or some other subject, humanities and all, you might not be able to understand all this based on economics. So this is what you need to write and understand also, that this gross tax collections will be into direct tax and then corporate tax and income tax. While मतलब contrasting हो गया, on the indirect tax side, excise duty collections remain subdued. इसका मतलब excise duty indirect tax में आ जाती है. Even as GST has exhibited a healthy growth, तो GST भी indirect tax में आ जाता है. तो ये भी छोटी छोटी सी चीजें जो हम समझ सकते हैं इस passage में से. So data released on Saturday shows that the GST collection in March stood at rupees 1.6 lakh crore, up around 13% over the same period last year. For the full year, gross collections are estimated to be 22% higher than last year. However, overall tax collections have grown at a slower pace than nominal GDP growth. So now it is comparing the overall tax collections with the GDP growth. And while non-tax revenues are in line with the target, proceeds from disinvestment remains a matter of concern. Non-tax revenues, अभी वापस वो revenue पे आ गया, मतलब नॉन टैक्स पे. अभी तक तो वो टैक्स कलेक्शंस की बात कर रहे थे, अब नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यूज की बात हो रही है. दे आर इन लाइन विद द टारगेट. दैट मीन्स जो एस्टिमेट था यहाँ पर वो सही है, ऑलमोस्ट उतना ही चल रहा है। प्रोसीड्स, प्रोसीड्स का मतलब हो गया रेवेन्यू या बेनिफिट्स, प्रॉफिट्स, वो होता है प्रोसीड्स। तो प्रोसीड्स फ्रॉम डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट, डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट मतलब अपना जो इन्वेस्ट किया हुआ पैसा है उसे निकाल देना, दैट विल बी इन सिंपल टर्म्स। ठीक है, तो पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस हैं या गवर्नमेंट कभी अपने स्टेक्स किसी पब्लिक सेक्टर के अगर स्टेक्स परसेंटेज शेयर बेच देती है, तो देन इट गेट्स दैट मनी बैक, दैट विल बी द डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट। It remains a matter of concerns. As against a target of rupees 60,000 crore, collections at the end of February stood at rupees 38,640, including the proceeds from monetization of national highways. Now, on the expenditure side, while spending did slow down in February, overall central government spending for the year April-February grew by around 11%, marginally higher than what was factored in the revised estimates. मतलब अभी तक जो उनका था, they were talking about the revenue in the first paragraph, and in this paragraph they are talking about the expenditure. The revenue का भी कुछ estimate होता है, which was almost met by the direct taxes and by the indirect taxes, 12%, 13%, और फिर उसमें segregation हुआ था. So we know what is there in the paragraph. Now it is talking about expenditure. Expenditure का भी कुछ estimate हुआ था और उससे कहीं ज्यादा थोड़ा सा हो गया. Estimate अगर इतना था तो कहीं ज्यादा उससे spend हो गया है. 11%, it grew by 11%, marginally higher than what was factored in the revised estimates. So capital spending has grown at a significantly higher pace of 21% so far, as the government has focused on ramping up investments. So ramping up investments will mean increasing. To achieve the target for the full year, however, spending will have to grow by 28% in March. तो जाके उसका स्पेंडिंग का जो टारगेट है वो टच कर पाएंगे. इन कंपैरिजन कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर by state governments has been relatively subdued. State governments से थोड़ा सा कम है. As per a report by ICRA, 15 states had spent only 54% of the capital expenditure targets for 22-23 during the first 10 months of the year. This implies that in order to meet the targets, states would have had to raise spending by 76% in February and March. Failure to meet this year's targets will also raise questions over the ability to achieve the scaled up targets in 23-24. ठीक है, अगर ये पिछले साल का टारगेट नहीं अचीव कर पाए तो अगले साल का कैसे करेंगे, ये प्रॉब्लम है. As states accounts for a significant share of overall public sector investments, this spending is critical for driving the investment activity. States slow down हो रहे हैं, सेंटर तो फिर भी कर रही है थोड़ा, लेकिन स्टेट स्लो डाउन हो रहे हैं. स्टेट्स अगर इसी तरीके से पेस पे रहेंगे, इसी पेस पे रहेंगे, so this is not going to actually drive the investment activity. Drive means again to push it further. So the slower pace of state capex, that is capital expenditure, raises questions over the extent to which the public sector can drive the economic momentum. Momentum यानी स्पीड होती है. तो ये जो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है, अगर स्टेट्स नहीं करते हैं या स्लोअर स्पेस पे करते हैं, so how fast or how soon is it going to, or whether it is going to prove itself to be a driver of the economy or no? Economic momentum कितना आगे तक जाएगा, उसका पेस जो है वो भी कम रहेगा. This is the author's thought process here, the problem, the worry that he is catering, right? So now this passage given you a few terms. As I said earlier, I've highlighted those terms. Central idea या main point तुम्हें इसी में समझ में आ जाएगी कि जितना expenditure, if I go back to this paragraph only, right? So revised estimates are unlikely to significantly exceed the revised estimate present in the recent union budget, notwithstanding the concerns or deviation in both income and expenditure. इन दोनों में deviation तो हुआ है, लेकिन फिर भी इतना कोई difference आएगा नहीं जो estimates हैं उससे. Now, this part of the paragraph was given to show that what the estimate was and how well the government revenue has played a role. Maybe मतलब how much it is, वो दिख जाएगा. So government tax collections, gross tax collections, direct ones and indirect ones, what all is included, what is included in the indirect one, and what is to be done. डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट से अभी तक पैसा आया नहीं इतना ना, ये सब कलेक्शन हो गया. अब एक्सपेंडिचर की बात कर रहे हैं तो एक्सपेंडिचर कौन कर रहा है? गवर्नमेंट थोड़ा बहुत कर रही है. ओके फाइन, इट इज ओके. It will have to come up with 28%, or then here also he said about 54% स्पेंड किया है, तो अपना 76% अभी और आगे बढ़ाना है, क्योंकि स्टेट एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा नहीं हो रहा है, तो पब्लिक सेक्टर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स स्पेंड करेंगे, तो दैट इज क्रिटिकल टू मेक दिस a driver of the investment activity or to driver of the economy you can say. इकोनॉमिक मोमेंटम कैच करेगा या नहीं करेगा, इसका मतलब क्या, स्टेट्स और एक्सपेंडिचर कर सकते हैं, बढ़ा सकते हैं या नहीं. दैट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ वरी. स्लोअर पेस ऑफ द स्टेट, ये हमने देख लिया. इट रेजेस क्वेश्चंस ओवर extent to which the public sector can drive the economic momentum. Extent, कितना कर भी सकेंगे या नहीं. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is a vocabulary, though I've named it the same. But kindly note down these words. Fiscal deficit, एक सेंटेंस से पूछेंगे तो आ जाएगा. लेकिन फिजिकल डेफिसिट क्या होती है? रेवेन्यूज कम है और एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा है. ठीक है. सो यदि आर इज मोर देन द ई, ये हो गया डेफिसिट. आपका खर्चा ज्यादा है लेकिन पैसे कम मिलते हैं, ये हो गया डिफिसिट. Fiscal deficit related to money. Now, single sentences we can understand. The point is, what I want to establish here is that you read on these topics. ये सारे topics 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 11 topics है. 11 topics को तुम ध्यान से पढ़ो. Maybe 2 or 3 topics a day. So this week, complete reading on all these topics. What is GDP? What is GDP growth? What is nominal GDP growth? नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यूज क्या होते हैं, जीएसटी कलेक्शन क्या और कैसे होता है, कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स कलेक्शंस में क्या क्या इंक्लूड किया जाता है, डायरेक्ट टैक्स से प्रोविजनल डायरेक्ट टैक्स बताओ, मोनेटाइजेशन होता है, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है, पब्लिक सेक्टर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स होते हैं. जैसे बहुत सारी चीजें जो हमने लिखी हुई हैं. अब तुम्हारा काम है कि द रिमेनिंग वीक यू नीड टू रीड ऑन दीज टॉपिक्स so that you can understand articles that are based on economics and business. उसमें थोड़ा बहुत बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाएगी. और वैसे भी तुम्हें ये चीजें थोड़ी थोड़ी तो आनी चाहिए. सो दैट इज व्हाट रीडिंग ऑन दीज, ओनली रीड, नॉट मेकिंग नोट्स. ऐसे बर्डन लेके बैठ गए कि नहीं आज तो ये करना है करना है. कुछ लोग सोचेंगे कि क्या आज तो वर्ड्स तो दिए नहीं, ये इसका क्या करेंगे, छोड़ दो, रहने दो. डू नॉट डू दिस. इफ आई एम सजेस्टिंग यू टू रीड on this topic, so kindly do so. Somewhere or the other, this is going to improve your understanding, your comprehension skills, and this is going to reflect in your increased marks. Chahe 1 mark ho, 2 marks ho, but your question, if you are able to understand this and come up with the right answer, that is what matters. Because at the end of the day, even a single mark, even half a mark will create a huge difference between you and your rival, right? So that is all for today. I hope you will note down the words and start reading about it. So thank you. And if possible, I'll take the same topic whenever we are coming up with the enhancement sessions. Come on. Thank you, class. And have a logical week ahead.